right, I'm taking you to Thrift at 3 different Los Angeles thrift stores today. This first one is an Out of the Closet, which is a thrift store chain that's in a few states. They have quite a few in California, and it used to be one of my favorite thrift stores in San Francisco, just for personal shopping. This first bag was by the brand Ellington. I didn't recognize the brand. I think this was a brown color, and when I looked up comps, they were just a little too inconsistent. And although some of the comps were good, I decided to leave that behind at the end of the day. I walked over to belts, which I never look at belts, so that was pretty random. But here's a belt by someone, Jennifer Graham, and I thought it was a cute style. It was in good condition, but when I looked up comps for this item, they ranged from about $5 to $30 for most items, so it just wasn't worth it at the $4 price point, which is what this specific belt was marked at. So I also left this one behind. I also wandered over to the men's shoes. I didn't find anything in good enough condition to pick up, but it's always fun to browse. I was kind of excited to see APL. It stands for Athletic Propulsion Labs, and it's a pretty sought after brand by just people who like it. And it does have a pretty decent resale value, but not in that condition, so I left it behind. And I walked over to this one rack in this specific store that is $1. This is the only sale this store has, this one rack, and I almost never find anything worthwhile. Maybe a Free People or Anthro top that might be worth picking up at $1, but for the most part, I quickly scanned through it to head over to some other areas. I always stop by hard goods, even if it's just for, looking for cute stuff for my own home, but I didn't find anything to resell or to pick up. So it was a quick glance. So it's jean season, so it's definitely a priority stop. This is a pair of Rag & Bone jeans. They were just the basic skinnies, so nothing really that interesting or current. It wasn't a bad price, but I decided to leave these behind. This store has some decent jeans, but I try to be a little bit more selective with style these days and not always by brand, if that makes sense. But here's something I didn't recognize called Lamb and Flag jeans. The tag looked interesting, but the comps kind of were in the 20 to 30 range, so it just wasn't worth it at regular thrift store prices. I quickly hopped over to sweaters. Here's a Madewell sweater. Not a bad price, but I don't like to spend too much for Madewell basics, and so I decided to leave that behind. So I occasionally come across equestrian stuff in Los Angeles, and I've actually had some decent luck with some of the items, but I do look them up. Not all brands are created equal. Although this was new with tags, they had this marked, I believe, at $12, and it just wasn't worth it based off of the comps that I saw. So I'm over at the women's side of the shoes, and I found a couple pairs of shoes by the brand Melissa, and I've actually picked up this brand a couple times. The condition on this pair wasn't great, and they were marked up a little bit, but this brand can do pretty well, and they also have some really interesting collabs with some of their designers, so I do occasionally pick up the brand, just not today. This is a pair of Madewell shoes. The condition wasn't that great. It's also just not the right season that we're going into, so I decided to leave those behind, but I do always like to browse. All right, I'm in my least favorite section to look through, which is leggings, but I did spot these Lululemon leggings that were not a terrible price. I was surprised because they do mark up Lululemon at this store occasionally. This kind of had some texture, it had some zippers at the ankles, and we're getting close to January when a lot of people will be wanting to shed their holiday pounds. So I am trying to do a little better job to look in the athletic wear areas. And so I decided these would be good to take with me. This next pair of pants already sold for me. I did pick these up. It's by the brand The Great. They kind of had a little bit of a drop crotch, a cropped length, and just a really great basic style. They sold for $29.60 on eBay, and I think it was a good pickup. I walked over to one of the new carts they rolled out and just wanted to browse. I know some people like picking up this brand, Pure Navy, which I've actually never picked up and sold, but some things can do fairly well. I just didn't think those were in the best of condition. This is, I was hoping it was a Le Creuset, but it was not. So I don't know what I would do if I actually found a Le Creuset. I would probably keep it for myself because I wouldn't want to ship it, and I like the brand. So here's a pair of Vans. They weren't in great shape, so a couple pairs actually. So I just decided to leave those. There's nothing more awkward than trying to find a spot in a small thrift store to show you what I'm picking up, but here we are. This is another pair of Lululemon leggings. I thought the print was fun and the price was pretty reasonable. Everything is listed by the time this video goes up. If you want to see full-length photos or how I price things, I'm usually expecting about 20 to 30% off my asking price. So this is a pair of leggings that I'm really tempted to keep, but I just know I won't wear the style. It's by Outdoor Voices, which is a fairly desirable athletic wear brand. And this is a size large, which is great. Also reasonably priced and in pretty good condition. I was pretty excited about this next piece, which is by the designers Sachin and Bobby. I've actually never picked this up to resell. I've found it a couple times in not the best of condition, and it retails pretty high and some of the comps are pretty great. So I decided to take a chance, even though it was marked up a little bit. I just thought it was a beautiful piece. Here is an item by Sundry, S-U-N-D-R-Y. I think that's how you pronounce it. I just thought this was a great basic. I've had pretty good luck with this brand. And unfortunately, there was a faint spot that I couldn't stain treat. It wasn't marked too high, but I probably should have left this behind if I would have noticed the spot. Here is another Sundry item, and this one appeared to be new with tags, and it was also cashmere. I don't think there was a rip in this when I bought it. I'm looking right here and I can't really see the rip, but when I got home, there was a small tear, and so unfortunately, I thought I would be able to get maybe 30, 35 for this, and now I'm probably looking at maybe, 15 to 20. So not a great pickup, but mistakes do happen.
It's a first. I finally found Tumi. I saw this on the bag rack that I had already looked at, but I was looking from a different angle, and it's marked 15, which is marked up, but I feel like I should be able to get about 100. There's some signs of wear on the corner, but it's a really great structured kind of tote bag, really great work bag. And there's, some signs of wear, but it's an adorable blue lining. And there's kind of this, oh, what is all this? Okay, there's that could probably be sold on its own. And then I guess this is the authentication, your Tumi product. So that's kind of nice. It's also got like a, I don't know if you can see right here, like a little patch with a serial number. If found, please call, so you can register this bag. But how awesome is that? this has been a bucket list brand for me for so long. So I was just glad that I spotted it. I was like, finally, Tumi. Anyways, so that's not, you know, it's not a very big store and they do mark things up, but I'm gonna go to a new store that I've never been to, and it's not far from here. So I'm gonna drop off some packages that I have right here and go to the new store and take you along.
All right, we're at the second store of today, and this is the Council Shop. This is a small chain of thrift stores in Los Angeles that's run by the National Council of Jewish Women. And I really enjoy these stores to shop for myself, but I do not enjoy them as a reseller. The women or the people working here definitely know their brands and they price accordingly. So I thought I'd pop into this store because it just opened a couple weeks ago and I wanted to see if they priced the same as some of the other Los Angeles locations. And sure enough, they definitely had a lot of things marked up, which I will be sure to show you. These are a pair of Fry boots marked at 50. So I'm just gonna browse around quickly and see if I can find anything that's worth reselling. So while this store and this chain of thrift stores, they know their brands and they price accordingly, there is still an opportunity to find some things that they don't know. They do have, I think, 2 or 3 sales each year, and you can get on their email list to be notified when those are. I also did a Thrift with Me when one of their stores was closing, and I managed to get quite a few items for $3 a pop. So it's always good to get on email lists if you can. Here are a couple items that I decided to leave behind, but I thought I'd point out. This is by an Australian designer or brand called Veronica Main. I've found this brand a couple times and it looks like it's decent stuff, but then the comps are just too inconsistent for me, so I left that behind. Here's a Levi's Made and Crafted. When I first started reselling, this was doing pretty well, and since every time I look up comps, they are just not that great or not as good as they used to be, so I left those. Here's a pair of the Great jeans, and while I do love this brand, I actually just picked it up earlier this day, the jeans don't do very well for me, so I usually leave those. Here's a pair of wedgie skinnies. There were a couple spots on them, just not the best condition. I think all the jeans were $10 here, regular price, so I just didn't think it was worth it. So as you can see, the store definitely gets a lot of great donations and great brands, but they do mark things up. This is a Bottega Veneta bag marked at $75 as is. I don't mind when thrift stores mark things up if they want to. It is an area where a lot of normal people shop for themselves and find some really great deals. So I decided to take you over to the third store, which was a Goodwill that I randomly have never been to. I feel like I've been to most, but I headed straight back to the bags to see if I could get anything. I spotted this Kate Spade bag, which was a nice colorful tote, but not shocking, they had this marked up as well. And so I'm just browsing. I like the colors of this bag, and this is just one of those brands that I rarely pick up, but I do like some of the styles, which is Fossil. This is a brand that I got in a ThredUp box many years ago, a couple years ago, and it's Junior Drake, and it's very hard to read, but the comps are pretty decent with certain items, and I ended up finding 2 of the bags by this brand. I didn't pick up either of them because they were marked pretty high and not on sale, but I just wanted to point out that that brand can sometimes do pretty well. I quickly went over to clothing and I spotted this Daughters of Liberation jacket on the end of a rack in the wrong spot. It sometimes is sold at Anthropologie, but I don't really have the best of luck with it. So here's a pair of Madewell jeans, regular price. They are white and they are distressed. They look like they had a little bit of puckering on the front, so I definitely left those behind. So here's a pair of men's jeans in the women's section. This sometimes happens, and I think there's an advantage of knowing some of the men's brands when you encounter this. The Protégé has done pretty well for me, but you can clearly see there's lots of issues with this pair, so it was on sale. I decided to leave that behind.
Okay, so technically it's $1 a day at Goodwill, and I thought since I was striking out at all the other stores, I would hop on over, see if I could find anything. I didn't get any dollar items, but I did have a 20% off coupon, so I spent $34 and 36 cents on 5 items. One of them is for me, which I'll start with that. I just thought this was a good kind of cute basket box. I have a thing for boxes. There's actually 2 of them and they match, so you can either stack them or put them in separate areas. So I really liked that. That was $7.99 with the 20% off coupon, so $6.
All right, I thought I'd show you where I put the boxes. This used to be an exterior window in my kind of sunroom area, and it's right next to this piece that I think many people recognize.
It's not branded or anything, or it doesn't have a brand on it. This is a maxi dress by Anthropologie, the line by Anthropologie, and it's a size small. It's one of those just really easy to throw on, kind of fitted at the bust. Really perfect vacation dress, but I really liked the kind of mixed print. The car is not the perfect place to show a maxi dress, but this line isn't one of their higher end Anthropologie lines. This was $9.99, so $10 with the 20% off. What does that break down to? $8. I don't know comps, but I'm assuming just because it's so colorful and fun print, I'm assuming I might be able to get 35 maybe. So we'll see. This was kind of cool. It's the Levi's wedgie skinny, and it's plus size, so it's 16 at women's, and it seemed to be in pretty good shape. There's some distressing on the front, and then there's the raw hem, which I love, and it's a button fly. I don't know if all the wedgies are, but anyways, I'm really enjoying my wedgies that I just got recently, so I thought this was a good pickup. I think everything was full price, so yeah, this was $9 with the 20% off coupon. This was a new brand to me, and the tag I think is supposed to be upside down. It's called Thrills. I think it might be an Australian brand, just because they have the Australian size first, but the style is the Bell, and it's just a high-rise, kind of a wide leg, very light distressing pair of jeans. And the comps were mixed, but enough of them were right around that 40 to 50 mark that I thought it would be worth trying. And this was $9 with the 20% off coupon. And then lastly, this has the label tag cut out, but I was able to look up a number This is 100% cashmere and it's size large, and it has a neon skull on the front. I thought this was so fun. When I finally looked up there's some number WPL right here. When I looked that up, it was aqua cashmere or aqua, and they've got a cashmere line. And some of these are selling between about 40 and 50, or some of them. Some I think are a little bit less, but I thought the neon yellow was really great. So I thought that was a good pickup. Even without the brand, I'm not worried about it. So at least it has 100% cashmere. It's super soft. So that's it for my thrift with me. I am toasty. It is warm again. So I am going to put on the air conditioner and drive to get the dog. It was a fun half day of thrifting. So I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to hit the thumbs up, and I'll be back with another video soon.